Hi there. A little bit sooner than expected, but there you go. So, the sort of second edition is going to be kind of moving on a little bit from the second, but obviously going to be related. I kind of feel that when I try and order or plan things too succinctly, that they lose a bit of their sort of conversational edge, I guess. So anyway, we talked a little bit last time about popular culture and myth, and about the point I was trying to make really was that in some of the earliest, certainly the cradle of Western civilization, in the Greek civilization, that the hero. The hero stories, the hero myths they were all they were designed for you, not for you to observe. They were there to engage with. They were metaphors for your for your own existence. Whether you were a soldier or a tradesperson or an artist or whatever it was. They were about you. They weren't about observing somebody. And I mentioned the Greek civilization, but you go right back to the dawn of time, to prehistoric man, and you look at the cave paintings, and the cave paintings, they were all about this initiation, this ritual of transformation into from a boy or a girl into a man or a woman. Okay, they weren't. They weren't something that you watched other people do. I mean, you did when you were growing up, but this was all about partaking. This was all about you. This was all about your great transformation, and very much about what Nelson Mandela once said. He said, "Don't play yourself down in front of God." Okay, I use God as a metaphor, but be great, be powerful, be involved. You're not an observer. You are not an observer. Some of the greatest minds in the world, for psychoanalysis, people like C.G. Jung from the 19th century, talked very much about myth and about the archetypes, and the symbols, the psychic heritage of us all were recurring themes, recurring symbols, recurring ideas, recurring archetypes all through history. And why would that be if anything had changed? And things haven't really changed. We're still essentially human. These symbols still mean the same thing. Other people like Freud, they looked into this, and Joseph Campbell, later the famous mythographer, 20th century mythographer, Carl Karenye, you name it. And particularly in the arena of mental illness, how still these symbols, these archetypes, these ideas, they kept coming up. Okay, so essentially we do have this connection with the past, but how it is that, I believe at least, that popular culture is corrupted that. We are no longer participants. We're observers. We look on. And one of the greatest sayings that I can think of in relationship to this is the great philosopher. He was a lot of other things as well, but the German philosopher Karl Marx once said that all that is solid melts into air. Okay, and this is what popular culture doesn't seem to understand. It talks about icons, it talks about legends. A lot of these people aren't going to mean anything. And the point I'm asking you is, are you going to mean anything? Are you going to do something great? And what is that? What is that something great? Is it being on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here? Is that what it's about? Is that the pinnacle of it? Because it seems that way. It seems as if being famous itself is what people want, irrespective of what it's for. Okay? But very few people make that. And I would suggest that none of those people ever become legendary, because they fundamentally misunderstand what immortality is. These people aren't important. Okay, all that is solid melts into air. It can mean a lot of different things, but in this case it means, what are you going to do to be memorable? And is it important that other people remember you? Is it? No, it's not. What's important is that you grab your own power, that you grasp something from this life, the only life we have, okay, and make something of it. Don't play yourself down in front of God. And again, I come back to this popular culture, you know, this celebrity sycophancy that we're just absolutely obsessed with in this country. And another great group of people that had a big influence on me, a kind of quasi-anarchists. I mean, they were anarchists really, known as the Situationist International, and they had a lovely expression for it. They called it the spectacle. The spectacle, isn't that marvellous? We don't partake anymore. No, the hero journey is not for us. No. No, the spectacle. We're just observers. We're passive observers. Consumers as well, but in the sense that I'm talking about, we're observers. We don't partake. Okay? And of course, what it should be called is, you know, I'm not a celebrity, get me in there. But that's another story altogether. But there's a reason that certain things haven't dissolved. And the reason for that is because there have been these great minds, these great individuals that have left a mark. And all too often, what I find happens in this, not only with the dumbing down that popular culture affords our culture, but in people's attitudes, you know, there are a number of forces that I think are working against this kind of evolution of ourselves. And one of those is the idea of inverted snobbery. Yeah, a very strong, something I touched upon in the last one, an anti-intellectual streak. Okay. So when I was at uni the first time in the 1990s, the best-selling paper, and to those who don't know what this newspaper is, it's The Sun. The Sun's a rag. It's a joke, almost a joke. And all those young minds who were in university for the first time all thought it must have been so ironic. They thought they thought the joke was on the Sun and that it wasn't. The joke was on them. They thought it was ironic. They thought it was clever. Which is why kids today go through the education system. Now, there's all sorts of reasons why the English language is dominant. Most of them aren't good. But either way, in this country and in America, anywhere else where the English language is prominent, kids who grow up have a currency when they can speak that language. They could go anywhere in the world they wanted to with that language, dominant language. And instead of that, what do? You get words like in it. People think it's funny. People think it's funny to be ignorant. People find it amusing that somebody very educated, you know, uses these words, you know, and it constantly eludes me, really. And a big part of that is down to the fact that I honestly feel that people just feel like they know their place, you know. You want to go and check out where I live. There's potholes all over the road. It's an old council estate. Does that mean that I can't read Shelley? That I can't appreciate Shakespeare? Okay? That I can't listen to Mozart or Beethoven? No. Because I earnestly believe that those things are there for us to listen to, for us to consume, you know, for us to learn, evolve and strive, you know, strive. And when do people do this, you know, people are just happy sat watching Sky TV or Ant and Dec or whatever. And I'm not criticising that, but when it comes to this inverted snobbery, this, oh, I don't know what you're talking about now, you're using a big word. Well, you know what? Pick up a fucking dictionary and learn what that word means, you fucking slob. That pisses me off like no end. People who play themselves down, people who are perfectly intelligent, but no, they'd rather actually just play, you know, along as the fools that ultimately they are acting like, and saying, oh no, it's beyond me. And that's where the anti-intellectual agenda comes in. It comes into this idea that I know my place. I know my place, and I'm not even going to bother to try anymore. I'm not going to strive, okay? I'm going to sit in my little box. People don't want to go beyond their comfort zone. They're too scared. Too scared. Oh, I didn't understand it beyond a certain thing. The words are too big. Oh, dictionary. Stephen Hawking died about 10 days ago. I read A Brief History of Time about 10 years ago, or rather, I got to about chapter 8 and I'd lost all reference point altogether. But you know what? That's kind of the point. I challenged myself and I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. And I knew beyond that there wasn't really a lot of point in going any further because I'm not a particle physicist. I'm not a great mathematician. But the point is I tried, and a lot of people, they just seem to think that actually the world is there just almost like, you know, a comfortable bed. And I want people to be out of their comfort zone because you know what? We're not going to evolve unless people do. So I can't stand inverted snobs. I can't stand those people who pretend that they're uneducated when they're not. Those people who play themselves down before God, if you like. Those people really piss me off, and they're a serious danger. And those, you know, who I think largely, sadly, on the political spectrum, who go along with that anti-intellectual agenda, are playing along with that perfectly well. And I don't believe that. I believe we should be powerful. We should strive beyond our comfort zone. We should become that hero. Okay? The hero's you, not anybody else. And so there you have it. Maybe people do know their place. Maybe people would prefer, okay, maybe people would prefer Coronation Street over John Milton. Maybe people would prefer Ant and Dec over War and Peace. Fair enough, fair enough. But we're not going to evolve. And if we don't evolve, there's a big, big element of personal choice in that. And that personal choice, I feel, is to go beyond the comfort zone, to learn, to strive. I think that's about what I can say today. Best of luck. See you again, folks.